Hey, what's up there, YouTubers? It's me again, Brian, aka Gamer55551, and I am back with a My 2 Cent video for this week for February 26th to March 4th, though. No video game review for this week, though. This week was a little bit hectic for me. I had to do morning shifts where I worked for this entire week, mostly because someone were on vacation and all. So I probably won't have one this week, though. I might do a video on Saturday, though. I might look at like maybe my top pick games for, the Xbox, PlayStation, and Switch and multi-platforms of 2022. I'll see if I can try to get that done and everything like that, but there won't be any video game reviews or movie or TV show review for this week and all. But anyway, we got 4 stories to cover, including the Square Enix shutting down Luminous Production, though. Rumors that started to pop up about the possibility that a Switch 2, yes, I know we're going to be hearing this no matter what, could pop up sometime this year or something like that. Comments made by Phil Spencer regarding the acquisition of Activision Blizzard, and also an update on a report that seems to indicate that the EU might be more in favor of letting this deal go through. And of course, comments made in regards of what we could see in terms of when we might see this Starfield direct or anything like that. If you're interested where I got the source of these information, though, links will be in the description of this video, assuming you're watching this on YouTube. But before we get started, though, I like to do what I like to call a quick My 2 Cents, stories that kind of caught my attention, but I'm not going to go into a huge amount of details, though. The first one is reported that Microsoft might be teasing a Golden Type reveal event or planning for the next couple of months. Now, it's unclear what this could mean. Could this mean the possibility that they may have another shadow drop of a game that they're going to put on Game Pass? Could this mean that, games like some of the games from Rare Replay, like, maybe like Perfect Dark or, Banjo-Tooie or other games could be making its way to the Switch's online service? So there are multiple ways you could kind of look at this, though. We'll have to see what comes out of it, though. But for now, though, we'll just have to take a wait-and-see approach. We also learned that there are plans starting in May for the game Trinity Trigger will be making its way over here to the West, though. The game is coming to the PS4, PS5, and the Nintendo Switch. It has several folks who worked on past games, even those who worked on the Xenoblade Chronicles series. So I'm very curious about this title, to be exact, though, especially since it's coming to the Nintendo Switch, so I'll certainly will be keeping an eye on it, though. We also learned that the CWA has basically filed a charges or lawsuit against Activision Blizzard, and this has to do with several employees may have been fired for speaking out or anything like that. Now, right now, the investigation, supposedly the labor board is going to be looking into this, so we don't know for certain what comes out of it. But if what the CWA is saying is true and they have evidence to back it up, though, then yeah, I do think Activision Blizzard should face the consequences. No employee should face retaliation or be fired just because they spoke out and everything like that, though. We also learned that the Starfield Chronicles, a favorite game of mine from last year, though, will be getting a free update, though, which is certainly nice. To be exact, though, it's nice that they are doing a free update for that game and everything. We also learned that a veteran who works for the Sonic team will be taking over the executive role at Sega, to be exact, though. No word on how big of this role is going to be, perhaps because how Sonic Frontiers did, though, in terms of sales-wise. That's probably one of the reasons he is basically getting that promotion over at Sega. We also learned that Microsoft wants to bring the best version of Call of Duty to the Nintendo platform. How that's going to be remains to be seen. And there's multiple ways, assuming this deal, Activision Blizzard deal goes through and all, which I believe most likely will be. It's going to be interesting to see how they bring it to a Nintendo platform. And it remains to be seen if they're referring to the current platform, like the Nintendo Switch, or the possibility of Nintendo's next system. I still believe most likely it will still be the handheld hybrid concept, though. It could be a Switch 2 and everything like that, but it remains to be seen, to be exact. I mean, yes, they could bring what the other systems are getting, but it's also possible we could have like our own version of Call of Duty, kind of like how where basically Monster Hunter World was available on multiple platforms, but Switch owners got Monster Hunter Rise. I mean, first to be exact though, before it went to other platforms, but we got our own version of Monster Hunter. So it's possible they could take that approach, but time will ultimately tell whether that happens or not. We also learned that EA is reportedly laying off more than 200 Apex Legends QA testers, though, and it's supposedly an unexpected Zoom call and all. No word on what actions, what's going to happen, whether those QA testers file a complaint or whatever the case may be. But yeah, very unfortunate for them, though. I'm hoping they're able to find jobs, but we'll have to wait and see how this all plays out, though. We also know that Private Division and Obsidian is working on a Xbox Series X and S and PS5 upgrade of the 2019 The Outer Worlds, called the Spacer Choice edition, though. We know no word about this one, whether it's coming to Game Pass or not, although I assume the most likelihood it will be, considering now Microsoft owns Obsidian and everything like that. So I wouldn't rule out the possibility that the Spacer Choice edition could make its way to Game Pass, but I haven't heard anything just yet, though. We also learned that supposedly Metroid Fusion will be out next week, or on March 9th, for the Nintendo Switch as part of Switch's online service, which is certainly nice, though. This follows up on the heels of basically the Metroid Prime remaster that has just recently came out, which, from what I've been told, people are having a hard time finding the physical version, though, although supposedly Nintendo has responded and said, we're working on it and trying to address the concern, though. Great that this game is coming to his Nintendo Switch's online service, though. I hope with this and Metroid Prime Remaster, this sets the stage for the possibility of, hopefully we'll hear something about Metroid Prime 4. I'm hoping this year, but we'll have to remain to be seen, though. And last but not least, we've learned that basically the Super Mario movie has now had its release date kind of change. Originally it was supposed to be April 7th. Now they're pushing it to April 5th. I mean, 2 days earlier than its original release date, but nevertheless, a welcome addition indeed. I'm looking forward to seeing that movie when it comes out next month, though. Still mixed on the idea of Chris Pratt voicing Mario, but it's not to the point that I'm losing sleep over it, despite what some on the internet are making it sound like it is, though. But in either case, I'm looking forward to seeing that movie, though. Okay, with the quick My Two Cent part now done, we'll get started with our first story, and this one has to do with Starfield. Now, obviously, this is one of Bethesda and Microsoft's one of their very big titles that they're trying to get out the window, got to get out there to us consumers, especially on Game Pass, though. Originally, this title was supposed to come out last year, but they made the decision to delay it into basically next year due to multiple reasons. Some have speculated that it may have been because of how Cyberpunk 2077 was perceived when that game originally launched. Now, we do know the fact that basically that supposedly they're planning to have the game come out after Redfall comes out in May, though. Many are speculating June, possibly August, though. The thing is that basically Starfield will be getting its own developers direct, to be exact, though. When that direct is coming sort of remains to be seen, but a recent tweet by someone who works at Video Game Chronicles seemed to indicate that we could be seeing a developer's direct soon, at least according to what this individual is basically saying. In an article posted on GameSpot, on GameSpot though, it reads that, quote, Microsoft's Starfield showcase might be announced any day now, according to reporter Andy Robertson. The Starfield showcase may be imminent. The announcement might be made soon, according to Robertson. Robertson reports this on February 24th, but no announcement has been made yet. He tweeted, quote, I heard the announcement for Starfield showcase is imminent, though. Just when the show will air, however, is unknown at this stage. The game is expected to launch in the first half of 2023 on Xbox and PC, following a delay from 2022. Starfield will not have a native Xbox One version, but it will be available on console via cloud gaming, though. Now, whether or not this Starfield Developers Direct is imminent or not, that remains to be seen. So we'll have to wait and see when it comes out. But when it does come out, there are a lot of things that I would like to see come from that, though. I would like to see how the game is going to run. Basically, whether you have an Xbox Series X, an Xbox Series S, or basically the PC, to be exact, though. I'm very curious to see what the gameplay mechanics are going to be. I'm very curious to see how well the game will run and everything like that. I do want to see if there's anything going to be different. Is it going to follow closely to Skyrim? Is it going to follow closely to Fallout or anything like that? And of course, an actual release date. I think that's something people want to know, is what is the release date for Starfield is going to be. I think a lot of us have been waiting for that release date and all. I mean, a lot of people have been speculating, though. If they don't announce a release date, though, this is going to raise questions about the possibility, could Starfield even come out this year at all, though? So I'm hoping we get some solid information when this Starfield Developers Direct does happen, though, and hopefully the response of it is maybe a bit more positive than when the first gameplay trailer was shown, which wasn't bad, but there were some people questioned some of the frame rate issues, so I'm hoping those areas have been ironed out, to be exact. So overall, though, it remains to be seen if the Starfield Developer Direct is imminent or not. This person claims it is, but we'll have to wait and see if that does happen, though. I'm hoping with this Developer Direct, it gives us a ton of information, nothing spoiler, but a lot of information from any changes to the gameplay mechanics, how the game will look on every system, Xbox Series X, S, and PC, and obviously a release date. That's the big thing I think a lot of people are hoping for. Okay, we're going to take a quick break, and when we get back, we'll get to part 2. And this one has to do with an interview Phil Spencer has made in regards about the Activision Blizzard deal should it fall, and an update, at least according to what Reuters has been hearing, about the possibility that the deal may go through after all, at least in the EU part. So we'll take a quick break, and we will be right back. Okay, and we are back with part 2 of my 2 cent video, and for this one, we're going to be taking a look at the Microsoft Activision Blizzard acquisition, as some interesting comments Phil Spencer has recently said, plus supposedly an update, at least from Reuters, that seemed to indicate this deal may actually go through, at least in the EU to be exact. Now, since last year, though, we've seen exactly... A lot of people have been looking and seeing where this deal was going to go and all. There have been some speculation it probably won't happen. There are some who, like me, believe more than likely the deal will probably go through. I am still a little mixed and have some concerns about Microsoft buying Activision Blizzard, but I'm not as hell-bent as in terms of blocking the deal like the head of the FTC, Linda Khan, is, to be exact, though. But in either case, though, we've seen some ups and downs of where this has gone. We've seen the FTC file a lawsuit. We've seen also Microsoft basically strike a deal with NVIDIA and Nintendo to commitment to bring Call of Duty for the next 10 years onto their platforms and all. Bear in mind, it's platforms. They didn't specifically say it's going to be the Nintendo Switch. They just said platforms in general, though. Well, in a recent interview with Phil Spencer, he has sort of pointed out that even if a worst-case scenario were to happen, that the Activision Blizzard deal is blocked, though, it doesn't seem to signal that this will be the end of basically Xbox in general. In an article posted on by Video Game Chronicles, and many have picked it up, they mentioned basically that the proposed $69 billion Activision Blizzard acquisition is not a linchpin for the future of Xbox. According to the article, it reads that, quote, Phil Spencer was in the UK this week for talks with the competition and market authorities following a European Commission hearing in which defends the proposed deal amidst concerns it could harm competitors, particularly if it were to make games like Call of Duty exclusive to its platform. The CMA is in the middle of an in-depth investigation in the acquisition, while also faces challenges from the European Commission and the FTC. Although the deal would be by far Microsoft's biggest acquisition, the corporation makes for far more non-gaming products such as Windows Office and its cloud version, the cloud service. So, The Times asked Spencer what would happen to Xbox should such an important acquisition be blocked by regulators, to which he responded that the gaming business was not dependent on its completion. This is an important acquisition for us. It's not some linchpin in the long term. Xbox will exist if this deal doesn't go through, he says. Much of regulators' concerns around the Activision Blizzard deal has focused on how it could reduce PlayStation's ability to compete, given that it would see Microsoft gain ownership of the Call of Duty series, which Sony has called irreplaceable. Spencer says he was baffled by why regulators were seemingly protecting the console firm, which it claims in the press conference last week controls a 70% market share in the console business. Microsoft recently said it has offered Sony a 10-year legally enforceable contract to make each new Call of Duty game available on PlayStation the same day it comes to Xbox. So do I think this marks the end of basically Xbox if this deal doesn't go through? I don't think so. I don't think this will mark the end of the Xbox or anything like that, though. What I could see happen should this deal not go through, though, is the fact that I do think it may force Xbox to reevaluate some of their positions or reevaluate how they handle acquisitions going forward, to try to not get into as much of a headache as we're seeing right now that they seem to be going through with them purchasing $68 billion for Activision and Blizzard, though. So I don't foresee this being the end of Microsoft or the end of the Xbox division or anything like that. Meanwhile, though, it seems as though, at least according to Reuters, it does seem to indicate that there's a possibility that the EU Commission might be more on board with Microsoft buying Activision Blizzard, and seems to be like, yeah, go ahead and do that, though. According to the article from Reuters, though, and they titled as exclusive, they're saying that Microsoft is set to win EU knob on Activision with license offer, sources says. According to the article, it says Microsoft is expected to secure EU antitrust approval for a $69 billion acquisition of Activision, with its offer of licensing deals to rivals. Three people familiar with the matter said, helping it clear a major hurdle. Microsoft announced the Activision bid in January of last year, its biggest ever to take on leader Tencent and Sony in the booming video game market, and to venture into the metaverse, which is the virtual online world where people can work, play, and socialize. The European Commission, which is scheduled to decide the deal by April 25th, is not expected to demand that Microsoft sell assets to win its approval, the people said. In addition to the licensing deal for rivals, Microsoft may have also offer other behavioral remedies to alleviate concerns of other parties than Sony, one of the people says. Such remedies typically refer to future conduct of merger companies. They also point out how Brad Smith said the U.S. software group was ready to offer rival license deals to address antitrust concerns, but it will not sell Activision's lucrative Call of Duty franchise. Now, a lot could happen between now and when April 25th has happened. So it's possible the EU could change its mind. There's always that possibility. So I can't rule out that could happen. That being said, though, I'm still in the camp and leaning more towards I do expect this deal probably will go through. And if what these people are saying is necessarily true, then if the EU says yes to this deal, though, I am curious to see what pressure this will put on the CMA and possibly the FTC. It's possible it might put pressure on them and tell them to consider, yeah, let's just sign off on this deal and all. It's also possible that given the recent ruling that Sony has to reveal certain information, including some of their exclusivities deals, it's possible they may be pressured to maybe say, you know what, let's make it this 10-year deal with Microsoft in terms of regarding Call of Duty and try to put this behind them as soon as possible. So there's always that possibility. So we'll have to wait and see what happens on April 25th. If this is what the EU is set to launch their final results and all, but I'm still in the camp leaning more towards the most likelihood this deal will probably go through. So overall, I would say I doubt Xbox will cease to exist if this Activision Blizzard deal won't go through or anything like that, but I don't deny the fact that I think Microsoft may have to rethink some of their approaches in terms of acquisition and all. As far as this EU commission, if this report is necessarily true, it sounds like more than likely the EU will say yes to this deal. But again, a lot can happen between now and April 25th, so we'll see if that truly emerges or if something changes or not, though. Okay, we're going to take a quick break, and when we get back, we'll get to part 3, and this one has to do with Switch 2 rumors, and an interesting one that seems to have come out so far. So we'll take a quick break, and we will be right back. Okay, and we are back with part 3 of my Might You Sent video, and for this one, this has to do with, obviously, rumors about Switch 2 or the next system from Nintendo and all. So as some of you already know, it has been 6 years since the original Nintendo Switch has came out, and since then, the system has become very successful for Nintendo, though. We've even had 2 different models, a Switch Lite and a Switch OLED, though. But every year, though, we tend to hear rumors about a new model for a Nintendo Switch. There have been sometimes rumors about the possibility of a Switch Pro or Switch 2, although there have stories that have come out saying that Nintendo at one point was thinking of a Switch Pro, but kind of backed away from that, though. And a lot of times these rumors turn out to be false and everything like that, though. I mean, there was a claim about a 4K Switch, and while some of this leaker got right in terms of the OLED, the 4K part never really came to be or anything like that. So every year we kind of hear a new rumor for a Nintendo Switch, though, and this one tends to have certainly has caught a lot of attentions, though. This has to do with a post that has been posted on basically 4chan by supposedly a leaker who supposedly got a lot of the Pokemon stuff during the Pokemon presentation correct, though. In an article from Tom's Guide, though, it reads that, quote, excuse me, new leak about a successor to the Nintendo Switch has emerged in the wake of Nintendo's Pokemon Day event. Posted on 4chan and supposedly verified by Pokemon insider Centro Leak, the leak, written in non-native English, claimed to be from a programmer at a Pokemon outsourcing company. In the post, the leaker claimed that the second of the upcoming Pokemon Scarlet and Pokemon Violet DLC will launch alongside a new Switch model to accompany the game's graphics enhancement patch. With the second part of the Hidden Treasure of Area Zero expansion officially launched in winter 2023, we could see a new Nintendo Switch this year. Of course, it's worth noting that 4chan is one of the most suspicious locations on the internet, and any rumor should be taken with a grain of salt, which is true given 4chan's history and all that. But some elements of the leaks do add up. It was in fact posted before the announcement of the Pokemon DLC at the Pokemon Present event, but this news was expected and all but confirmed prior to the event, especially as Pokemon Sword and Shield followed the same pattern. The specific of the leak describes the DLC, which has made some sit up and take notice, though. Now, is it possible this could be basically the successor to the Nintendo Switch? I mean, that is a possibility, but even Jeff Grubbs does have some doubts to it, though, and according to him, he's saying, quote, from when the example comes from Giant Bomb journalist Jeff Grubbs. Grubbs reveals on a new video on his YouTube channel that he's hearing about an official announcement of a Switch 2 reveal that will be happening in late 2023. He does, however, advise a lot of caution. Not only does he state that what we've heard is a rumor and that he couldn't 100% verify, but he even said that it's a rumor of a rumor and not to be taken as, taken serious. He later said something like this happens would be hard to believe. Still, he's hearing something at all, and it's obvious another sign that the rumor aren't going to end anytime soon. So, as I said before, it's possible this rumor could be true. We are 6 years into basically the Switch's life cycle, though. There are some clamoring for, like a Switch 2 and everything like that. But at the same time, it's also true that this may not be a Switch 2 at all, though. This could just be maybe another, a version of the Nintendo Switch. Maybe this will have bundled with a Pokemon game and anything like that. And as far as this graphical enhancement, it could just be ways to improve the Pokemon game in general. It may not be the graphical enhancement of a Switch 2. So I still would take some caution on this rumor, especially from 4chan and all. I'm not saying this rumor, I'm not ruling out the possibility this rumor can be true, though. There are some people pointing to Nintendo having a light 2023, and while that is somewhat true to a certain extent, and it could be a sign that Nintendo could be gearing up for Switch 2, it is worth pointing out Nintendo does have a history of keeping a lot of things to their chest. Remember, they sat on Metroid Prime Remaster for a whole year before they sent that game out, though, and which makes you kind of wonder, are there other titles Nintendo could be sitting on that we just don't know about at this time? So I wouldn't really read into this as this is officially confirms that a Switch 2 is happening. It's not out of the realm of possibility, but I certainly am approaching with some caution to this one. So overall, I won't rule out the possibility that this leaker could be correct, though. I won't rule out the possibility we could see a Switch 2 announced sometime this year and all. But like anything, we've been down this road many times before. I still would take this with a grain of salt because it's possible Nintendo may not be announcing a Switch 2. For all we know, it could just be another Nintendo Switch model, but this one bundled with the Pokemon games and everything like that. So still take this with an absolute grain of salt. Okay, we're going to take a quick break, and when we get back, we'll get to our fourth and final part, and this one has to do with Square Enix or shutting down or absorbing Luminous Production. So we'll take a quick break, and we will be right back. Okay, and we are back with our fourth and final part of our My True Scent video, and for this one, we're going to be taking a look at Square Enix, particularly Luminous Production, though. Now, when that name comes up, most people will recognize them as they are the ones that created, the Luminous engine, particularly the one that powered Final Fantasy 15, which to some out there was kind of got a mixed response to some folks. Some liked it, some didn't, though. They tried to bring in, a lot of DLCs and all, but eventually they sort of discontinued with that, and many argue that sort of is a unfinished game and all. And of course, their last game that came out was Forspoken, a game that at first got a positive response, but supposedly it became a hard sell for some folks. And the game came out around the same time Microsoft shadow dropped Hi-Fi Rush, though, and that unfortunately that game did not, Forspoken did not at least sell as well as some people may have hoped for, though. Plus the game got sort of a a mixed response, though. Well, apparently it seems as though going forward, or starting May 1st, Luminous Production will be no more, as instead it will now be absorbed into Square Enix, though. In an article from GameIndustry.biz, it reads that, quote, Forspoken developer Luminous Production is being folded into Square Enix, the company announced. The merger, which will be effective from May 1st, is part of a wider strategy to bolster the competitive power of the firm's development studio, Square Enix said. Luminous previously was a subsidy of Square Enix, so will now be an in-house studio and not a separate entity anymore. The studio confirmed the news on Twitter, adding that between now and May 1st, it will remain focused on the development of Forspoken, and it's currently working on a patch and DLC due to release this summer. When we established Luminous Production in 2018, our vision was to make AAA games that fuse technology and artistically to deliver completely new play experience, the studio confirmed. Having a chance to just do that has been a dream come true. We appreciate you taking this journey with us and look forward to continuing to create new entertainment and experience as part of Square Enix's family. Now, they didn't give any reason why this merger has happened, at least as far as I'm aware of, but I think a lot of people speculate why that may have been the case, though, and a lot of it goes back to Forspoken and all. Now, granted, they're still going to update the game, they're still going to release the DLC for it, though, but it does seem to indicate that Forspoken did not perform as well as Square Enix had originally had hoped for. I tried the demo out myself, and I thought it was okay. To be exact, though, I wasn't bothered by the writing, though I will admit it was kind of cringy at times, but I wasn't as bothered by it as much. But yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if one of the reasons was because of basically because of Forspoken. That, and from what I've heard, is that the Illumination engine was, for what I understand, was very hard to use and all that stuff. So it does make you kind of wonder if Square Enix is pretty much just going to drop using that engine altogether and just use, Unreal Engine 5 and all that, since we know that basically Final Fantasy VII Remake did use Unreal Engine, particularly Unreal Engine 4, and we know the latest games like Octopath Traveler and Live Alive have also used the Unreal Engine. So I do wonder if they're just basically going to drop the Luminous engine altogether. Again, we don't know, but we'll have to wait and see. So overall, though, very unfortunate for Luminous Production, though. Hopefully a lot of the staff aren't being fired or anything like that. Hopefully they're able to find jobs, whether it's within Square Enix or not. And while they're not officially saying this, it wouldn't surprise me if one of the reasons was because Forspoken did not perform as well as Luminous Production and Square Enix had hoped for. Then again, same thing with Babylon Fall, and same with the Avengers game and all. Okay, this concludes this My 2 Cent video for this week. And again, these are my opinion. What are yours? What are your thoughts about the possibility that the Starfield Developers Direct is imminent? Do you think this is true? Do you think we're going to be seeing a Starfield Direct soon? Or do you think it's most likely we may have to wait a little bit longer for it, though? And when the Direct does happen, what do you want to see? More gameplay? How the game's going to run on the different systems? To the possibility, do you want to hear an actual release date for Starfield, though? What do you think about the interview Phil Spencer said in regards of them acquiring Activision Blizzard, though? Do you think Xbox will survive even if this acquisition doesn't go through at all? Do you think Xbox is done if this acquisition doesn't go through? And what are your thoughts about this article from Reuters? Do you believe that the EU will agree with this acquisition, or do you think something will change between now and when supposedly they'll give their answer on April 25th? What are your thoughts about the so-called rumor about the possibility of a Switch 2 being revealed this year? Do you think that is going to happen? Do you think this leaker is correct? Or do you believe this leaker is more referring to maybe a newer a Switch with a bundle, with a Pokemon game into it, though, that we're not going to see a Switch 2 as many people had thought we might see, though? And what are your thoughts about Square Enix now absorbing Illumination Production, though? Are you pleased with this announcement? Are you surprised by this? Are you not surprised by this at all? Do you think that this may have happened because the Forspoken did not perform very well as they had hoped for? Or do you think there might be other reasons why Square Enix decided to absorb Illumination Production? Do you agree with what I said in this video? Do you disagree? Do you have a difference of opinion? As always, sound off on the comment section below. Let me know what you think. And if you do like this video, I hope you hit the like button. I would appreciate it. And I hope you do subscribe to my YouTube channel. If you do, make sure you hit the bell icon for notifications of any new videos I put up. Also, feel free to share this video if you want to, and feel free to donate to my channel if you like. You could do it through PayPal Me or Patreon, or even through Steam Labs. Links will be in the description of this video, assuming you're watching this on YouTube. And I will see you again next time when I do another video. Hopefully that'll be soon. Until then, from Southern California, I wish you all a good day then. Bye!